The South China Sea is a vital artery for global trade, with trillions of dollars in goods passing through each year. It connects Asia's major economies to the rest of the world, making its stability crucial for the global supply chain. Beyond trade, it's one of the world's richest fishing grounds, supporting millions of livelihoods in countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia. But overfishing and territorial disputes are putting immense pressure on these resources, turning daily life for fishermen into a struggle. Beneath the waves, vast reserves of oil and natural gas promise economic transformation for developing nations, if only they could access them. Overlapping claims have turned these riches into a source of conflict, stalling exploration and cooperation. The South China Sea's strategic location, natural wealth, and untapped energy make it one of the world's most contested regions. Here, economic interests, national pride, and international law collide. What happens in these waters has global implications, from trade disruptions to energy security. The world is watching because the stakes are high for everyone. The search for a peaceful resolution is more urgent than ever. The future of the South China Sea will shape the region and the world for decades to come. Its fate is a test of whether international rules or raw power will decide the future of our oceans. The South China Sea disputes are deeply rooted in history, geography, and national identity. China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan all claim overlapping parts of these waters. China's 9-dash line covers nearly 90% of the sea, clashing with its neighbors' exclusive economic zones. China has built artificial islands and militarized them, changing the region's strategic landscape. Its Coast Guard and maritime militia often confront other countries' fishermen and block access to resources. And the Philippines won a landmark legal victory in 2016, when an international tribunal ruled China's claims had no legal basis. China rejected the ruling, leaving the Philippines with a paper victory, but little change at sea. The conflict is now a flashpoint in the broader US-China rivalry, with the US conducting naval patrols to challenge China's claims. Smaller Southeast Asian nations are caught in the middle, trying to protect their interests without being forced to choose sides. Navigating these diplomatic waters is as challenging as navigating the sea itself. The dispute is about more than territory. It's about power, law, and the future of the region. The stakes are high, and the path to resolution is anything but simple. The South China Sea remains a powder keg, with no easy answers in sight. Under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the Philippines has taken a bolder, more public stance on the South China Sea. Unlike his predecessor, Marcos refuses to downplay the dispute or cede ground to Beijing. The Philippine Coast Guard now brings journalists on patrols, documenting confrontations with Chinese vessels and sharing them worldwide. This name-and-shame approach aims to expose China's actions and rally international support. Marcos has revitalized alliances, especially with the United States, expanding military cooperation and exercises. The message, any attack on Philippine forces could trigger a US response. This assertiveness comes with risks, raising tensions with China, the Philippines' largest trading partner. Beijing accuses Manila of provoking trouble and acting as a pawn for outside powers. The Marcos administration walks a tightrope, defending sovereignty without sparking open conflict. The strategy: build a credible defense and strong international backing to deter aggression and keep the peace. It's a high-stakes gamble, but one the Philippines is determined to pursue. The world is watching to see if this new approach can shift the balance. The outcome will shape the region's future. The Philippines is pursuing a two-track strategy: diplomacy and defense. On the diplomatic front, Manila works through ASEAN, pushing for a united law-based approach to the South China Sea. Building consensus with neighbors is key to managing disputes peacefully. At the same time, the Philippines is modernizing its military and coast guard, acquiring new ships and surveillance systems. The goal isn't to match China's might, but to create a credible deterrent and protect its waters. Strengthening alliance is central. Joint patrols and exercises with the US send a clear signal of commitment. Partnerships with Japan, Australia, and Canada add training, equipment, and diplomatic support. This dual approach lets the Philippines stand firm while keeping dialogue open with China. President Marcos Jr. insists talks won't come at the expense of sovereignty. By combining diplomacy and defense, the Philippines aims to deter aggression and uphold international law. The strategy is about balance, defending national interest while preserving peace. In one of the world's most contested maritime zones, this approach is both pragmatic and necessary. The stakes demand nothing less: ASEAN's consensus model, once its strength, is now a weakness in the South China Sea dispute. China's economic influence divides the bloc, with some members reluctant to challenge Beijing. As a result, ASEAN statements are often watered down, lacking direct criticism of China. This disunity undermines the bloc's credibility and leaves claimant states like the Philippines isolated. Frustrated, Manila has turned to alliances outside ASEAN, strengthening ties with the US, Japan, and Australia. Still, the Philippines hasn't given up on ASEAN, knowing a regional solution is ideal. The challenge: push for unity and a rules-based approach while protecting national interests. Navigating this internal divide is a complex, diplomatic game. The stability of the region and ASEAN's future hangs in the balance. The Philippines must keep pressing for unity, even as it hedges its bets elsewhere. With ASEAN divided, the Philippines is building a global network of partners. The U.S. alliance, anchored by the Mutual Defense Treaty, has been revitalized with clearer commitments and expanded military cooperation. Japan is now a crucial security partner, providing patrol vessels, radar systems, and a new defense pact for joint exercises. Australia has deepened its defense ties, conducting joint patrols and supporting the 2016 arbitral ruling. These partnerships add layers of support and amplify calls for a rules-based order. Beyond these, the Philippines is strengthening ties with Canada, the UK, France, and India, all increasing their presence in the region. This minilateral approach, small coalitions of like-minded nations, complements efforts within ASEAN and with the US Manila's message. Its struggle in the South China Sea is shared by many. The Philippines is not alone. Its cause resonates globally. This growing network is its strongest shield against coercion. For over 2 decades, ASEAN and China have negotiated a code of conduct for the South China Sea. The goal: clear rules to manage disputes and prevent conflict. ASEAN wants a legally binding code, consistent with international law and covering the entire sea. China prefers a non-binding declaration, resisting limits on its activities and seeking to restrict outside powers. The slow pace of talks reflects deep mistrust and conflicting interests. For the Philippines, a weak code could legitimize China's claims and undermine its legal victory. The fundamental question: will the code reinforce international law or create new rules favoring China? Progress is slow, but the stakes are high for regional stability. The quest for a meaningful rulebook continues, with no breakthrough in sight. The outcome will shape the future of the South China Sea. In 2026, the Philippines will chair ASEAN, setting the agenda and guiding the bloc through turbulent waters. This is a chance to spotlight maritime security and push for real progress on the code of conduct, but the role comes with pressure to maintain unity among members, some of whom are close to Beijing. Pushing too hard risks alienating others and fracturing ASEAN further. The challenge: defend national interests without hijacking the regional platform. Success will depend on diplomatic finesse and the ability to build consensus. The world will watch how Manila balances its own goals with ASEAN's collective interests. The chairmanship is both an opportunity and a test of leadership. How the Philippines handles it will shape ASEAN's credibility and the region's stability. The stakes for Manila and for Southeast Asia couldn't be higher. The Philippines' path in the South China Sea demands strength, patience, and vision. By modernizing its military and publicizing incidents, it signals it won't be bullied in its own backyard. This isn't about provoking conflict, but about credible defense and deterrence. Diplomacy remains central. Investing in ASEAN and building global alliances to amplify its voice. The 2016 arbitral ruling is the legal and moral anchor of its position, even if enforcement is tough. The Philippines is betting that international law and global opinion will, over time, shape a more just order. This is the story of a middle power standing up for its rights against a giant. Using legal, diplomatic, and military tools, the Philippines defends its future and its people. The world is watching because the principles at stake, sovereignty, rule of law, peaceful resolution, are universal. The Philippines' journey is a bellwether for Asia's future and the global order. Its struggle is about more than territory, it's about the rules that govern us all. The outcome will echo far beyond these contested waters.